Hello, friends, and welcome to this Whole Life Action Hour. I'm Ocean Robbins, and today we are here to talk about spring renewal. Not just tidying up, but clearing the stagnation in your body, resetting your energy, and realigning with the season's natural momentum. I'm joined here by Dr. Robyn Benson, a doctor of Oriental Medicine and founder of Santa Fe Soul. Dr. Robyn has traveled to over 70 countries. She's been studying indigenous healing traditions, and she has now spent the last 3 decades helping people restore vitality using regenerative therapies, nutrition, and energy-based medicine. As you're about to see, she's brilliant, she's practical, and she's going to share some tools we can all use right away to feel lighter, clearer, and more alive. Now, just to be clear, this is part of Whole Life Club. Some of today's questions come from our members. As always, this is education, not medical advice. Consult a qualified healthcare professional regarding your specific medical needs. All right, let's dive in. Robyn Benson, welcome.
Hi, Ocean. It's so good to be here with you, my friend. It's been a while since I last saw you, and it's so great to be part of your club here. I'm delighted. And when I think about everybody who's listening, I think there's two questions I would love everyone to tune into as we talk about renewal. But think about what is your number one health goal, but also what is your number one life goal as we have this conversation today.
Yeah, beautiful. When we know what we're going towards, it's so much easier to get there, isn't it?
It
Um,
is.
that sense of vision. They say pain pushes and vision pulls. A lot of us are motivated by suffering or pain to make radical changes, but that will just get us out of something at its best. It won't get us into what we really long for. And I think that when we're motivated by our visions, dreams, and aspirations as well, that can really pull us forward. And
Absolutely.
spring is a time for springing forward. It's often described as a season of growth, even awakening. How can we work that energy into our everyday lives?
I love this season, and having traveled around the world, different season, being in springtime in different parts of the world. I've been in Haiti, Turkey, Cuba, up close and personal with people, and it's a time of blooming, right? It's like we've gone from where it's a time to thaw. We're looking at, it's a time when we go from winter to spring where we tend to have heavier foods, right? Sometimes people put on 3 or 4 pounds. It's we're not as exposed to as much light. So springtime is where we get to thaw. We get to really feel what the emotions, right, of change. Like it's such an exciting time, and to do it in a way that's really honoring to the body to make this change, because Chinese medicine, we're going from like winter, which is like bladder kidney time, right? That's when we're resting, we're storing up. When we think of a lot of animals, what they do in the winter time, and it's a time to look at what's been stuck in the body, what's been shut down, what wants to awaken. And as we move into liver and gallbladder time, this is springtime, right? So liver is like a master amazing organ that is so important for detoxification. So this is a time we often look at, what do we need to detox, what do we need to let go. And then also the gallbladder. The gallbladder is a very important organ system. So we don't look at just the organs in Chinese medicine, we look at the whole system in our whole entire body and how that's playing out in terms of how we wake up. How are we feeling good when we wake up in the morning? Are we feeling tired? So it's a time of regeneration, and that's what the medicine that I practice. We are always regenerating.
Yeah.
There's always degeneration going on. So it's a time to say, I'm ready for a fresh start. I'm ready for a new beginning, and I want to take care of my vessel in the best way possible.
I love that. Now, you referenced some of the countries you've been to. You've spent decades exploring healing traditions in, I think, like 70 countries. What have those experiences taught you about how the body renews and rebalances? And are there any common themes you find in indigenous cultures and healing traditions around the world?
The first country that comes to mind is Kenya. spending time with the Maasai tribal people for like 2 weeks, like to see how they what they are consuming. Everything is from the earth, right? I mean, this is like a big message of I know that you've conveyed to so many people, Ocean, with the food revolution, and certainly what I do every day with just every single patient. But I mean, they never know where we don't they don't have refrigeration, right? They don't have freezers. So I've learned a lot about how we all, our ancestors, we lived from our environment. We lived from
Mhm.
what all the good things that nature produces. So it was so illuminating to me to realize how healthy they were living with just eating from the earth. So I learned a lot about movement in a different way. Like the Maasai people tend to, they jump, they go out and they're um, catching their prey, right? So they're having to move their bodies, and they have the most beautiful skin. I think about what we pay for in this country to have beautiful skin, and they're exposed to the sun. They're outdoors. They're not living indoors like we do. So I've learned a lot about nature. Returning to nature will solve just about any health issue we have. One
Hmm.
of the biggest ways to get back to tuning into our innate intelligence, because our body responds to signaling. So I've also learned about hydration, right? Like drinking water. Water is a human right, and so many parts of the world don't have it. And that was a really interesting awakening time. But just how it's not like they're drinking water all day long, learning from people that live close to the earth. They're getting most of their hydration through food.
Hmm.
So, and just to realize that you get a lot of the minerals that you need from celery, from carrots, from lettuce, right? And so I've learned a lot about that. And even medicine. Okay, so Chinese medicine, like there's at least 80,000 medicinal herbs around the world. So I studied in China for several months 35 years ago. But just like their not only their food is medicine, but in terms of if there's a disease pattern going on in the body, they have a huge pharmacopoeia, not just from the plant world, but from the animal world, right? So deer antler, right? There's there's so many herbs. Spending time with these doctors of Chinese medicine that focus on herbal medicine, and going out in the field, going out into the where the green tea is grown. It was just illuminating that they live, walk, talk nature, and it is the solution for a lot of our world. Like a fourth of the world are Chinese. Um, and to really be up close and personal to how they live life, and the way they move too. Was I just want to add one more thing. Like in China, I mean, there's ballroom dancing at 6 o'clock in the morning. They're doing Tai Chi everywhere in the parks, and
Hmm.
Qigong. And
Wow.
so they are tuned. I mean, this is a really important point that for everybody here as we think about this springtime, but really being attuned to like our inner world. Because when we listen to our body, it tells us what we need. It tells us when there's our alarms going off. So that's what a lot of what I've learned about kind of traditional medicine around the world, that it's nature based. And because they don't have the luxury of the um, industrial world so much, um, just to really pay attention, to really listen to their inner world, and to slow down. They slow down and eat slowly. Like meals are big occasions all the time, right? We hardly do that in today's world.
Yeah. Some of the things that I'm pulling from what you're saying are like that nature, as in the natural world, can help us connect with our nature, our own inner wisdom, our natural way of being. That movement can be integrated into all of our lives, that it can start as early as we want in the day, that it can be woven through our lives, that water and food are things that we so often take for granted, and in that process we lose our reverence, our gratitude, our respect for these powerful forces. And to if you've ever been thirsty and not had clean water, you know how valuable that can be. Imagine living your whole life having to travel a mile to get water. Well, we have it, those of us who do, coming out of our taps. What a miracle that is. Let's not take that for granted, right? Food, that what's the old saying? I've known what it's like to be hungry, but I always went right to a restaurant. Well, some people in the world really are hungry. And in that context, food is precious, right? And so when we restore our sense of reverence and gratitude, that can also help us to de-cheapen it and make that relationship more meaningful, more grateful, more connective. And then of course, you're also talking about herbs and healing plants and healing traditions. You said 80,000 healing herbs. I mean, who even knows most of those, right? How remarkable that there are people who have spent not just lives, but hundreds of generations accumulating a body of knowledge about these plants. And in the modern world, we tend to so often reach for pharmaceutical pills for every ill, but there are healing traditions we can source in, and you've been steeped in this for decades, that can have real wisdom and that integrate with the body as a whole system rather than a collection of symptoms to fix. So I just want to say how much I'm appreciating all of this. And then I want to ask you one question here. Like, there's a saying that we create our environments and then they create us. What are some simple ways we could refresh our living spaces or our surroundings that would support our clarity and our vitality?
Well, you said it right to a T. Like our external environment, our body is taking that in. So when your home chaotic, or is it pristine? I mean, and what I mean by that, like, I look at a number of factors in a healthy home. Light. We all need light. So, like, if you sleep in a dark room, which I'm all for, because I think that's really important to get deep restorative rest, but open up the windows, even in the winter. Like, getting in some fresh air is one of the best things you can do. So I'll open up all the curtains in your house, allow that air, because it helps with our neurotransmitters, our serotonin, our dopamine, even our oxytocin. Those levels are influenced by light. So that's a huge one. I want to talk a little bit about electromagnetic pollution. So our indoor environments are 200 times more toxic than in general than outdoor environments. So look at things that are plugged in, including appliances that don't need to be plugged in, right? So, and especially when you sleep, the word is electrohygiene. Everyone should know about that. Like, never have your phone plugged in near your head. Mm-hmm. Don't have a TV in your bedroom. That's one of the worst things you can do is watch TV before you go to bed, because there's all of these fields of energy that are really not harmonious to the nature of how our body operates. So electrohygiene. So think about, where are all these interferences? Like, sometimes I will go into some of my patients' homes that are having a terrible time sleeping, and I can usually I can take a Gauss meter and find out where this electro pollution is coming in your house. So especially at the springtime, like, this is a time to really look at your, how much you're connected, and to know that this is a good time to disconnect from the environment. Just cleaning, like household cleaning, and dust accumulates. I live in the Southwest. I mean, there's so much dust in the air, but vacuuming on a regular basis, like picking up all the extra debris. What's in your kitchen, like your pantry, if anything, always get obsessed with looking at expiration dates in your refrigerator and in your pantry. Like, look at what's there. Like, do like a clearing. Like, this is an important part of springtime. Like, what don't I want to have here in front of my face that I know is not regenerating new healthy cells in my body? That's not going to be fuel for my mitochondria. So that's really important. The other thing is, there are so many toxic products that many of us have, even not even knowing, right? Well, whether it's dishwashing detergent. I think in your community here, everyone who's listening, you don't have Tide. You're choosing not to have, bad chemicals in terms of cleaning supplies. Really important. Just even having those under your sink is not a good place, right?
Mm.
So you really want to think about, your inner world. Your outer world is a reflection of what's going on inside, and vice versa. So these are
Yeah.
some of the most important things that you want to think about springtime. I also want to talk about clothes. It was kind of a wintry day, actually weekend here in Santa Fe, and I spent a whole day going through every piece of clothing, every shoe, everything, every bit of, and I'm like, what is fantasy clutter? So not
Mm.
just clothes. So if
Mm.
you have an office and you look around and you spend like a good hour or two, you might notice that 25% of it is not important to you anymore.
Hmm.
But it's taking up space. So from clothes to books to photos, like what do you want to take forward into this new spring in your life, this new timeline, so to speak? Like 2026, like this is the most exciting year that it's here now. Like
Yeah.
what kind of life do you want to have spring moving forward? Again, thinking about like you want to lose 20 pounds, you want to go on that safari that you've been wanting to do a whole lifetime. But so all these things, so your environment, what you're exposed to every single day really matters.
You practice, or at least include in your practice, what you call energy medicine. Some people think of our bodies a little bit like cars, and we think of doctors a little bit like auto mechanics, and we go to them to fix the machine. But I think energy medicine has a different perspective. How do you think we should redefine our concept of self, and how might doing so improve our health?
So energy medicine is like the medicine of, it was used to be called medicine of the future, but it's here now. Um, we are bioelectrical beings, right? So when we think about our 70 trillion cells, they're light. Our mitochondria, where we produce energy, is light. So when we're fatigued, when we're inflamed, when we don't sleep well, that our energy, our battery, like think of every cell is a battery, right? And the light is dim. And we know like that with a flashlight when the battery is not working, right? You can't see a lot of light. Like this is the time that we're awakening out of a darker, not darker, but you know what I mean, the winter time. So energy medicine is, looking at kind of root cause. It's looking at all of our organ systems. Like if our thyroid's not working, that's like the common cold of depression if you have a hypothyroid. So so we look at hormones in terms of like getting the energy system. If you have really really low thyroid, if you have low testosterone, all of these affect our bioelectric field. So it's as much, all these internal things that I work with as a doctor of Oriental Medicine, as a regenerative medicine specialist. I want to look at what are those under functioning aspects of one's health that are affecting one's cellular being, but also looking at something like, in terms of everything, our health is related to our energy body, like everything's energy, right? So if we have low zinc, we have low magnesium, that's going to affect like 200 reactions in our body.
Mhm.
So energy medicine is Reiki. We all I have help my patients understand what to get in touch with the chi, the life force that's in their body. So
Yeah.
just by putting our hands together, and even when I do my healing work, whether I'm doing acupuncture, is one of the most well-known forms of energy medicine, and it's really a great time to get acupuncture during this seasonal time. But also just get in touch with your own energy. Like for any of you that have done Tai Chi or Qigong, just like going like this and rubbing your hands together. What do you feel, Ocean?
Just rubbing them, I feel friction. I feel heat. I feel a certain aliveness. There's a concentration of energy right here, which then it's like my hands are a little radiant after that.
Perfect. Now, what are you feeling? Do you feeling tingling?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's
really
tingling.
awesome.
Yeah.
And like in the there's Chinese medicine points all over the body, but really getting in touch with your own energy field and asking yourself, like, you scale 1 to 10, like my energy, my vibration is like an 8 right now. Like mine's pretty high right now. Um, or sometimes I'm gonna wake up in the morning, it's a 1. But just knowing that healing
Yeah.
is voltage. That's another really one thing that I learned from my friend Dr. Tennant. Um, like when he was in bed sick, like the voltage of every single of his cell was in a disease state, right?
Mm.
So what does it take from us to go from a disease state, or some type of dysregulation, to regenerate, to actually a regenerative state where you're feeling good again? So the most important things are going out in nature, like
Mm-hmm.
to really get in touch with the the human resonance of the earth. I mean, that's the biological window that really that's turning us on at all times. So this again, is when we think of energy medicine, think about energy as voltage. Like, how are we feeding ourselves? It's the number one thing we can do is give ourselves a live food in our body. So energy medicine is a huge, topic. I mean, and I also, when I think of energy medicine, I think about the quantum field, right? Like we're so little matter, and the
Mm.
more that we turn into this magnificent energy field that's around us at all times, and all the seen and unseen angels, I have no doubt, that we are never ever alone. So the more that you turn into that energy that's always supporting, that fuels you as well. But getting on a more technical doctor level, I want to do tests too, like to find out why the voltage of the body is really low, like
Mm.
doing a GI map to find out if there's parasites. Does someone have H. pylori? Does somebody have SIBO? That's affecting the energy signaling of the body, and that's causing some type of degeneration. So the gut is one of the most important areas that we want to keep healthy. And the other thing I just really want to mention here, pretty much get an answer to every question you've asked me before, but uh, the one area that I feel that dysregulates people more than anything is stress, for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
That we are go, 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 go. Many of us, we work hard, we play hard, but we don't get enough rest. And so that vagal tone of the body, that nervous system, like if you really want to heal, that is one of the most important things that you get to choose to restore through
Right. And there's a
meditation.
balance because obviously we all need some stress. An athlete needs stress to work
Absolutely.
stronger, but you also need stress and rest, stress and rest. And a lot of us are really lacking that deep rest part.
We're really lacking it. Not getting enough, like at least an hour and 15 minutes of deep rest, and about the same with REM. That we're just a lot of it is that kind of masculine drive. May just that causes dysregulation, and I see that in the pulses. Especially at springtime, people come in and they're wired and tired.
Hmm.
And this is a time with seasonal allergies are more people are more susceptible to seasonal allergies. So the vagal tone and finding times, even if it's 1 minute, 5 or 6 times a day, you can set your alarm on your phone that you just reconnect to your breath. Like
Yeah.
reconnecting to your breath is one of the most restorative, regenerative things you can do.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Reconnecting to our breath. I think that is so profound because we literally carry breathing with us everywhere we go. And it's, I think, one of the most potent tools there is for resetting a nervous system, for calming, even just box breathing. What are some of your favorite breathing techniques for helping to bring down stress and increase energetic resonance in a human body?
Probably the one that I do the most is Wim Hof.
Mm-hmm.
That it's more intense, but you can really feel that in your pineal gland and opening up your crown chakra.
Mm-hmm.
And how it just floods the body with oxygen, and it really just turns on your brain.
For those who don't know, Wim Hof is a teacher who has a practice. He's got there's an app, the Wim Hof Method website, lots of videos online, but the essence of it is a practice of rapid rhythmic breathing, circular breathing very rapidly for a certain period of time, and then a hold, usually on the exhale. And you can get really into it. My personal record was 5 minutes on the breath hold.
Oh my God, that's impressive.
Yeah,
I think mine is like three and a
very
half.
state of consciousness when you do that.
Absolutely.
But it is really fascinating. And I found like 15 minutes of this, I was in a state of tremendous meditation, like beyond what maybe an hour or 2 hours would have been without this practice. So it really accelerates presence and energetic resonance in the body. Of course, there's a lot of other techniques, but I just wanted to make sure folks know what Wim Hof refers
Yes,
to.
well said. Yes. I find that one to be one of the most transformative in a short period of time. But I also like where you breathe in for 4 seconds and you hold for 7 and you exhale for 8. And the other thing I want to say about breathing, having read James Nestor's book, have you read his book?
No, I have.
And breath, yeah. Well, about mouth taping at night and becoming more of a nose breather, you produce so much more nitric oxide with breathing through your nose. So
Yeah.
I'm an avid exerciser, so I'll go out and do my
Just
high
to build on that
intensity.
one for a second, I just want to say, folks, it's also really important for dental health. Mouth breathing dries out the mouth, and saliva is really good for your teeth, and it helps bring down cavities. So I had this experience myself. I became a mouth breather for a number of years, and then I started getting cavities, which I'd never had in my life. That's been really calmed down since. Yes, a good dental routine, but also really training myself. I don't use tape, but to nose breathe all night, it's super helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
A regenerative practice that we do here is exercise with oxygen therapy. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
our patients with lung issues, even some of our elite athletes too, that want to get that regenerative edge, and just how you're getting that microcirculation is so important in terms of regeneration. So anyway, like when you wear like a mouth guard while you're exercising, it's pretty amazing how that helps your vagal tone. You
Hmm.
increase your nitric oxide. So you can go on Amazon and buy just like a mouth guard, and it's incredible, like the shifts that I've had in my brain health for
Mm-hmm.
sure since
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing that. And then I used to think, how could I go run 5 miles with something in my mouth and just breathing through your nose? But it's amazing how it really brings you inward, and you have more of awareness of how you're moving your body more efficiently and your posture, and then
Mm-hmm.
all the infinite other benefits that you get from being a nose breather. So thinking about bringing that into your exercise, not just doing breathing techniques, but under when we reading the news, it's very stressful, right? Just it's just the quickest way. There's no cost to it, right? We do it anyway. But when we become more conscious of our breath, it brings your cortisol down. I mean, it brings your blood sugar down. It's like the list is really long. What regular breath work does for your health and your longevity.
Wonderful. I want to ask you about people talk a lot about seasonal eating. And, I'm going to say first off that I think kale is healthy whether or not it's in season. I think that Doritos are unhealthy even if they did have a season, but let's talk a little bit about whether there is some wisdom to different kinds of foods in different kinds of seasons. Obviously, we live in different climates, so what's local and seasonal isn't going to be the same everywhere. But are there some principles we could apply? What do you think is good for nourishing springtime food? And should people eat more calories in certain seasons than others? Should they eat more like light foods in certain seasons than other? Or what's your sense of this?
Well, it's a kind of a foundation of Chinese medicine for sure. And again, it gets very individual based on what's, looking at someone's tongue or taking their pulse. even in or out of season. But in general, springtime, you want to think about lighter eating. I mean, in general, you want to think about, because again, it's bitter foods are really helpful. Thinking about adding lemon to water, thinking about arugula, um, thinking about dandelion root. These are
Mm.
really good foods. Bone broth is pretty
Mustard
much
greens. Mustard
mustard
greens.
greens. You know, and
Yeah.
I think there. I know all about the controversy around kale. I kind of love kale. I love kale chips. I think that if any people have oxalate issues, when you think about um, some of the cruciferous vegetables, if you think about sweet potatoes, like, I mean, the idea of like not having a sweet potato, like, or avoiding that is like crazy. So it's you want to have, what's really most important to think about is just foods of the rainbow, right? You want to get all those polyphenols. You want to get you want to get purple vegetables. You want to get green vegetables. In Chinese medicine too, in general, the rule is less raw and having lightly cooked, especially spinach, that some people can have issues with that. So just lightly cooking it. So it's just a time to give your digestion a break. The liver is your main detox center, right? Not only is it detoxing hormones, but all the toxins of the air that we breathe and the food that we eat, the toxic food, no matter how much we try. We want to lighten up. We want to really, we want to give our liver a break. And one of the most important things too is just in this seasonal time. But I mentioned bone broth, but I'm not sure what your feeling is about it. But there's also vegetable broth. You can do really good broths with
Yeah,
vegetable
yeah.
because
I'm
you're getting
more
them.
enthused about that. I'm concerned about heavy metal toxicity from bone broth, but also just the reality that animal products come with a host of ethical and environmental concerns. So I'm interested in when we can get the benefits we're looking for from plant-based sources. That's
Yeah,
always a preference. Yeah.
vegetable broths are incredible. Definitely. I mean, just a mineral rich foods. Again, we want to think about things that are easy to digest. Staying away from fatty foods. That's really hard on your liver and gallbladder. Very challenging. So those
Hmm.
are for any season. You know, again, what fats we're choosing. We're saying healthy fats. So avocados are incredible. Like one of the best foods you could possibly put in your body. So that's something to add in springtime for sure. But again, thinking about a variety, I think very often, even those of us that eat really healthy, we kind of have these staples. The
Hmm.
liver really, and the gallbladder for that matter too, it's best to think about a variety of foods and, not doing, too many heavy grains or rices. Uh, it's just a time to have smaller portions. I mean, in general, that's always good for regenerative purposes. Um, and no
Hmm.
matter, like, again, thinking about your health challenges, there's something really going on with you, some type of diagnosis. This is essential, even for all the regenerative medicine technologies that are out there. And there's so many different modalities, like ones like PRP. I work with ozone in medicine. When 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 the body is moving, when the body is digesting, and we're having really healthy poops, we're peeing well. I mean, this is what really good detox. You want good poops. You want to be peeing like every hour or two. You want to be eliminating. You want to be sweating. That's also very important. So food, it's just, this is like the farmers markets start opening up, right? It's like whatever's fresh at the farmers market, that's what you want to be saying yes to. And the absolute to sabotage, this time is alcohol. It's having, pastries and bread products, like just to stay away from wheat, dairy, sugar. And when people that come to Santa Fe Soul, my center, I mean, we just give them, we kind of make this food conversation as easy as possible. We just give them a sheet saying, this is your shopping, this is your menu, this is what you can eat. That's the good news. And
Hmm.
quite frankly, springtime for any of us, we're going to get some inflammation in our body. It's just a way of life. It's just part of bringing in the good and detoxing. We're going to have some inflammation. So, it's just really important to think about, all this time is just the perfect time to make radical shifts in what you're choosing at the end of your fork. Because is this regenerating my cells? Is this adding light? Is this adding that good voltage that I want to feel good on a day to day basis? I just really believe that it's possible to live like heaven on earth, no matter what's going
Hmm.
on the outer world. Like when you do like a news break, I mean, we don't even get the newspaper anymore here. Like, what are you doing to keeping that frequency of your body as high as possible? And it's kind of fun because springtime we're moving more. Thank God, right? Like this is a time that we want to get outdoors. We want to be walking, but I just want to say exercise is medicine. Like it's so important. It's one of the most important longevity organ that we have is our muscle. It is so important that we move our body, eat good fuel, and move our bodies like every day. Go out for a walk, and then it's really pretty critical. I work with a lot of aging population as well, and it's kind of a choice, like how you do it. But you want to work with some type of weight bearing exercise at least 2 or 3 times a week, right? And you want to again be fueling the muscles with the best possible nutrition, like you're signaling healthy cells. We've all got stem cells in our body. A lot of times they're shut down more in the wintertime, and we want to activate that biogenesis that's allowing us to have a really fun earth walk.
Yes. Love it. Inspiring stuff, Robyn. Okay, so if somebody is craving a fresh start and not sure where to start, what's a gentle step they could take to begin their spring renewal?
I think what the most important thing to do is, I would say earth. So I always say earthing and exercise is medicine. But if you want a fresh start, commit to like the next 30 days to like within 5 minutes of getting up, even before you have coffee or anything, just go outside and connect to Mother Earth. Connect to the air that you're breathing, your feet on the ground, and just feel connected to the core of the earth and to the sky. I mean, this is really truly one of the best things you can do to start your day in a good mood, to make better choices, um, to really get those neurochemicals working for you, rather than like, oh my god, I've got a million things to do today. So I think to start a fresh start is to have a whole new relationship with the outer world, with outside, being outside. I think that's really important. And I'll step back a little bit, for this fresh start. One of the best things to do, even before you get out of bed. I wrote about this. I wrote a book called about the healthy conscious traveler. It's really my health manifesto in a book, because we are all traveling through life every single day, not just planes, trains, buses, to and from work, but that mindset, like to start this spring with a mindset, I'm a healthy conscious traveler. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to connect to the earth. Those are the negative ions that are going to fuel my cells. But when we think about animals, before they, wherever they're sleeping, they don't just like usually jump up, right? They stretch. So one of the best things you can do is
Right.
just kind of stretch and connect before you even get out of bed, right? Just, and then the other thing I really recommend is like they connect to your heart and self-talk. Say something beautiful like,
Mm,
today's going to be the best day of my life. Something wonderful is going to happen today. Um, I'm going to call my mom today. I'm going to talk to her, and like, really like start your day intentionally connected to you, where not your children, nobody else, your spouse gets in the way of like connecting to you, connecting to your heart song. What is your heart song? Like my heart song, my that connect to my purpose. My my purpose, is to connect to my heart song. That I'm here
yeah. Yeah.
to, yes. So that's what I think is really important. Like, what is your why for life? Like, that
Hmm.
is that is really one of the best things that you can do.
Mm, beautiful. I want to turn to a few questions from Whole Life Club members. Barbara asked, what do you see as what gets stalest in the winter and has the most need of being rejuvenated in the spring, including from the topics mentioned of nutrition, household, and spiritual, or maybe one from each area?
That's a great question. And I think all areas, right? But I also feel that's what's stale. A lot of our emotions, that a lot of people, that how much our emotions are kind of frozen, or we're dealing with traumas, we're dealing with lots of watching the news, or it's a challenging time. So we get to work on our nervous system. We get to allow ourselves to to feel the feels. But emotions are, a lot of them, like shame and blame, they're very acidic, right? So just like we think about certain foods that are not good for us, the emotional erosion of what's stuck, get out with your friends. Community is so important. um Watch a really good podcast. Like our emotions are stuck in so many ways, like one phone call, um all the things. So refresh, just say, like, gosh, if my birth rate is to feel joy, is to feel peace, that's innate. That's what I came here to experience too. Look at that. So look at your emotional train. Very, very, very important. What's also stuck in this transition, from kind of winter to spring, is when I think about our biome. A lot of times we have more inflammation in our gut, right? People are not digesting and absorbing their foods as well. So again, getting back to thinking about bitter, liver promoting foods. But it's a time to, like, what are the top things I'm going to do to upgrade my biome? So even like chewing food, like this new renewal time, like at times we don't chew our food really fast. We don't really feel like to say, I'm saying yes to that stagnant me that wasn't as conscious with this earth walk.
Mhm.
So that's something that's really important. Choosing like 2 or 3 different times, like 3 minutes, 3 times a day, where you're going to connect to your breath, because a lot of us just breathe from our diaphragm, right? And that's stuck energy too. So in Chinese medicine, think about unstucking, the kidney energy, right? That's our essence of our body, just to warm up our kidney, warm up, get that heat going into our kidneys. Same thing with our thymus gland. This is a way to turn on your immune system. These are just some simple things, but it's a time to, like, spend time in nature and just like transmute. Just say, I can't hold on to this old pattern, this old habit. I've had some addiction to. There are a lot of addictions out there, and it's just something that I talk a lot about with my patients. Like, what are 3 habits that you want to make in the springtime? Um, a lot of people are drinking too much, and if you really want to have a regenerative medicine positive experience, if you really want to shift your body, look at the ways that you're going unconscious. Look at what you're saying. I'm not fully lit in my life experience right now. So those are some of my answers. I kind of, as you can see, I kind of have a full spectrum of the way I answer these questions. I hope that's okay, Ocean.
I think that's exactly actually what Barbara was asking for. She kind of wanted a mosaic rather than just a
I
pin.
like that question, Barbara.
Yeah,
Thank you for asking.
yeah. Now Masumi said, Dr. Robyn Benson, thank you for being here. I'd like to ask if you support or recommend any particular formulas or recipes for detoxing drinks that can be made at home rather than purchased as a ready-made product. And an extension of that, do detoxing drinks have different ingredients for different seasons? For example, an autumn detox compared to a spring detox. I'm heading into autumn where I live in the southern hemisphere. Thank you.
Thank you for that question. Um, well, I think about less about seasonal than I do just every day, no matter where you live. That one of the most simple things that you could do in terms of I think about the cells again in terms of proper hydration, like actually getting the goodness of life in your body. And that's just going to always be water. It's going to be water with like a little bit of lemon and a little bit pinch of sea salt. That's it. I feel like no, that is number one, the most important thing you can do. Of course, there's all kinds of great teas. There's dandelion tea. Um, what is my favorite? I like this red tea. Name a really good red tea that it's I can't think of it right now. But there's lots of different things. There's turmeric, but I think when you get too many things in a detox drink, it's a lot for your body to process. So that's why I'm super simple. And you know what? If you do that every day, you're going to do one of the best things you can possibly do because it turns on your biological cellular being. Like
Hmm.
that electroporation, for it to happen, we have to have those healthy minerals to get water inside the body and outside. And it's one of the biggest health challenges that many of us will experience at some point. But dehydration, I mean, that's one of the main reasons that people end up in ER rooms. You
Hmm.
know, you are not hydrating your body. So I like to keep it really simple. I really do think that berries, making smoothie with blueberries and strawberries are really good. Maybe with a like a pea protein. But again, the people that come in and they're like, oh my god, I my smoothie today is with lots, full banana, and it's just like it's all it is sugar. And a lot of the places that you can get smoothies are full of that. But in terms of detox, coffee's good, but not, don't overdo it. Maybe add some collagen powder. One of the things that I think is more important than just thinking about detox is like fuel for your mitochondria. Again, always thinking about what's going to fuel. And one of the most studied supplements and most important ones that our body produces, but it's something that we have less of as time goes on, is creatine. So adding that to your water, like, is the brain benefits, the energy benefits, even with
Strength.
people,
Yeah.
what?
Muscle strength.
Muscle strength, skin health,
Yeah.
um, really important. Cacao is also really excellent because it's got an excellent source of magnesium, lots of
Mhm.
really good minerals. Um, and then there's charcoal. You can do put in a there's elixirs of charcoal that you can put in water. That's really good for detox. And I think about that more, doing that towards evening, because that's a binder. So
Mhm.
binders are really important in springtime, um, especially when we think about those little, we're made up of bugs, right? But we really want to think about how we can purge those things that are not so favorable to our biome get them out, to eliminate them out of our system. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my recommendation. It's very simple. I mean, in I think the larger message about springtime is it's the things that that are healthy. Most everybody here, it's just being consistent and again become a healthy conscious traveler, like saying yes to, am I living a regenerative lifestyle or am I contributing to degeneration?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I also want to put in a word for being outdoors, as your climate allows, but it is a way to be more connected to the seasons when you actually interact with them directly rather than being in a controlled indoor environment where the temperature and the lighting are all human made. Because length of day, temperature, these are realities in our environment that help our bodies attune to where we are and actually be nourished by those cycles. I want to ask
Absolutely.
ask you one last question, Robyn. Um, I mentioned earlier that a lot of us think of our bodies a bit like cars, but of course, we are exquisite, intricate beings. If you were to, I don't know, create a poem or just a message, allowing yourself to be a little bit inspired here for a moment about spring and energy and humans, what would you say?
You started with the car. the car metaphor, right? I'm thinking about, how sometimes we take care of our cars, right? We have nice
Mhm.
cars there. We take care of the engine. We put in the best possible oil. I mean, think about this springtime springing forth in the best way possible by choosing, um, getting outdoors as much as possible, because that's the greatest antidote to anxiety and depression, because there's an epidemic of that. If you're having a tough moment, like the best antidote to also anxiety is be creative. Like let this be a creative time. Um, go on a hike that you've never gone into in your own town. Like get outside and be with friends. Like there, it is one of the most soul nourishing things that you can do, and for the health of your body is to be with community, and to also look at this time. I do anyway. Like this truly is one of the most exciting times to be alive ever. Like, and especially those of us, all the awakening that's happening on the planet, and we contribute that by how we nourish ourselves. And I think I can kind of encompass kind of this time, like in the end, of each day, in the end of, you know a season, going to a new season, like what matters the most? Like how much did you love? How much are you living from your heart space? Um, how much are you letting go? How much are you allowing this earth walk to be the best possible for you? And when you are exuding that vibration, you're the light in the dark that's happening in the world. This is energy medicine, right? This is a choice. Where you are a year from now are the choices that you're making. And um, yeah, this is exciting. And let's be part of the food revolution. Let's be part of this awakening that's happening. Let's say yes to living heaven on earth together.
Let's say yes to living heaven on earth together. Can't think of a better way to wrap up than that. Friends, we've been talking with Dr. Robyn Benson, a doctor of Oriental Medicine, founder of Santa Fe Soul, author of Travel with Vitality, 7 Simple Solutions to Sleep Well, Staying Fit, and Avoiding Illness. Robyn, thank you so much for your wisdom, for your insights, and for your partnership in the food revolution.
Oh, I love being a partner in the food revolution. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be with all of you here today to share this message.
When it comes to cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, heart disease, and other chronic illness, what really matters isn't how many books you read, how many webinars you attend, or how much you know. What really matters at the end of the day is what you eat and how you live. The science has given us what we need to know. Now it's time for action. It's time to implement and optimize your healthy lifestyle. It's time to get results. It's time to say goodbye to confusion and hello to clarity. It's time to say goodbye to bad habits and hello to good ones. It's time to fall in love with foods that love you back. It's time to join a community that will support you in achieving your goals. It's time for Whole Life Club.